sweet, sweet victory in Jesus. Yes, I do. He is a mighty God. My battles you. Oh, I've got the victory. I got the sweet, sweet victory in Jesus. For me, he died, but he rose on the third day. That's why I have true victory in every way. Truly, I've been through the storm and rain. I know everything about
we know everything about heartache and pain. We are phenomenal women. Welcome to
right.
My name is Marisa Bludorn. I am your host, and I'm super excited to have with me today best-selling author Dr. Hattie Washington. We are so excited to have you here. So much going on, so much success. My God, reading your resume and just doing the research and background on you. It's just amazing. And so throughout the interview, we're going to have some of our listeners, some of our viewers, they'll be making comments. I'll pop them up. We'll address them throughout the interview. But I'm super excited to have you here with us. We're going into the holiday seasons. I really want to go into your cookbook. I can't wait to like really go into your cookbook and talk about all the things that you've done. But I just want to share a little bit of something. Dr. Washington served as a tenured professor of education at Coppin State University in Baltimore for over 20 years. Dr. Washington made history. This is what is just amazing. It's just when I even do the search for your information, there are so many historical figures that come up. Do you know that there are so many historical figures that come up in the search for you, and it just really tells you of your heritage. To me, I just take that as, oh my God, all the wealth of history that coincides with you. She made history as the first female vice president in the university's 100-year history. At the same time, she serves as the executive director of the Coppin State University Development Foundation. Her charge in this position was to implement a capital campaign and raise $3 million in 5 years. Instead, she undertook a more ambitious campaign goal and presented a little over $8 million to the Coppin Foundation Board, the Coppin Family, and the Board of Regents $5 million over the goal. Now, you said many times that you're not a fundraiser, but it's obvious that you are definitely walking in faith, family, and favor.
Yes.
So,
yes.
my God, what started the campaign in the first place to raise the funds?
Well, when I took the job, that was my charge, because the institution advancement had not been raising that much money, and they had an office full of people. And so really they weren't making money to pay for their own keep. So the president charged me with coming up with some strategy, a campaign to raise $3 million in 5 years. And of course, I had to assess my staff to see who was on board, because they had not been raising any money. So here I have the same staff. And so after observing for a while, I knew some people were going to have to go. But my strategy and philosophy is, first, you give people a chance to show you what they can do. Let them buy into the ministry and the mission. And then if they don't have the right attitude, then the next thing is, if you can't change people, you change people.
There you go.
So that's what I did. So I tried to change. Those who could change got on board with the right attitude. Yes, we can do this. Let's give it a try. Then those are the people I kept. But those who said, look, I'm going to be retiring in 3 years, so I'm not writing an action plan. I'm writing a slow down plan. That's what one person said to me.
Wow.
So I thought, well, you won't be in this office for 3 years writing a slow down plan.
No.
But we got 5 years to do my charge. So anyway, we had to let some people go, and we were able to come up with a strategy whereby fundraising is friend raising. People give to people. So if you don't have a relationship with a corporation or a person or individual or staff, then they're not going to give to a cause because they don't want to. But if you ask them to give, then they're going to give. I had 100% of my staff and professors and secretaries, everybody gave a contribution. And the reason they did, I said, I want everybody to give at least $1. And if you don't have $1, I'll loan you $1.
Yeah.
And so we had competition between departments and prizes and that sort of thing. And it just worked out so beautifully.
Wow. I mean, you know what? You said a couple of things. You said change people or change people. You know, people either are willing to change or they're not willing to change. And so it's so important when you're a leader to do, and you said also that you didn't run right in and start doing stuff. You did an assessment. You checked things out to see how things were. You checked the temperature of the room. And then you made a decision. You started analyzing what you could see and started making a decision. You know, I always tell folks it's very important that when you're taking a charge and you're leading something, to use the CAP approach. Make it clear, show them that it's achievable, and then give them the payoff. What's the payoff for them? How do we benefit from this? And then you know, you just did an assessment and say, hey, we got some of these folks we know, you know, you're just ready to get out the door. You just want to meet the status quo. You don't want to. So in that, when you take a charge like that, and we all, you know, you and I have had several conversations back and forth in regards to like the passion behind it, the why behind it, and the drive. And so what do these funds benefit the individuals? Like, where's the end result of where the funds went to benefit?
The purpose of the funds mainly were to provide scholarships for the students. Many of the students who came to Coppin were low income, many are first generation college students, and they had to work and go to school. And many times they weren't dropouts, they were stopouts. So they had to stop a semester to go and work to make some more money to come back. And so with the money that I helped to raise, they didn't have to stop out. And that's get that degree as fast as you can, so that you can go on and make money to do what you need to do in a professional way. So that was one of the goals. But we were talking about assessment. One of the things, when I was at the Maryland State Department of Education, we had let's say a person to come to train us, and it talked about change, because at the Maryland State Department, we were getting ready to change because the special education law was coming, and all the schools had to integrate special ed kids in the regular classroom. And I had one of those charges to help the teachers understand that you're going to have to teach special education in the regular classroom, whether you got a degree in special education or not. So the whole state was up in arms, like, oh, if I wanted a degree in special education, I would have gotten one. I got a regular education degree, and I don't plan to teach. So it was a lot of teacher union and one thing to another. And I remember this consultant said, with any change that you do, there are 4 phases. The first phase is storming. People are going to be up in arms, and they're going to resist, and they're going to rebel, and blah, blah. That's to anticipate that. In the second stage is forming. Those who are going to stay, Those say, well, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to retire because I'm not going to be doing all this work. So you're going to form your team. Then you're going to norm. The next is norming. Once you form your team, they're going to norm to the expectation. They're going to buy what you're saying, get on board, or they're going to retire. And then the last is performing. So storming, you're going to norming, then you're going to forming, and you're going to performing. So with any change, you don't go into a situation expect that you're going to make change instantly. If you're going to make systemic change, you got to go through those phases and anticipate you're going to be some resistance, going to be rebelling. Not to mention the fact that I was a female, and I was the first female of the university. So you have that cadre of, well, this female going to tell me what to do. And so you got to be nice with the silk glove, but at the same time, you got to be careful not to be too assertive, because then they start using the A word, aggressive.
Yeah, and angry.
or the B word, which is even worse. So I really had to pray and ask God for guidance, how to approach people who already told me that I'm not going to be working hard. You know, I'm going to be retiring in a few years. And one person told me that she was paid for by Title III. So therefore, she only had to work 30% because she was 70% by Title III. And I'm thinking, you don't understand what federal dollars do.
Wow.
I used to evaluate programs who use federal dollars and supplant federal dollars. You getting ready to make the university get in trouble, telling me that 70% and you're going to have to work 30%.
Wow.
Good thing I'm not from the feds and heard that conversation.
Wow.
So anyway, it was just how you lead people. You know, I have a high expectation leadership style, but I have team self-directedness. You tell them what they can do, tell them what their capabilities are, tell them your expectations and what they can do, and you expect for them to do more work when you're not present than they would if you were present. Right. And they buy into that. When I'm out of the office, they work harder than when I'm there. And that's where you want to systemically get them into a psyche whereby they're going to work because they respect each other and then they respect themselves.
And that's the results of a high performance team. It's groupthink. They buy in. They understand the value of they come into commonality and harmony with the goal. And they see the value of the goal and they see the importance of achieving the goal. That's why, you know, you're speaking my language, the storming, norming, all that change management. And so, because people resist first because change is unknown. They don't understand it.
Absolutely.
So they're quick to say, oh my God, what's getting ready to happen? You're getting ready to mess up my comfort zone and my stability and my security. And so when they don't realize that change, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. Change is good. It means that we're evolving, right? We want to stay relevant and current. And we definitely want to stay relevant to ensure we have some level of job security, right? We want to make sure that we are considered a valuable part of the team. And leadership is so important because it has a major impact on POS, right? We talk about all the time, POS, perceived organizational support. How does the organization support me? Do they really love me? Do they care about me? If I'm sick, do I have to worry about them? I'm the first one that's going to be let go if anything happens in my absence. People really look at that. And if their POS is negative, then their performance is impacted. And it's so important as leaders, like you said, give them that level of autonomy that says, here's the guidelines by which you can function in. And I want you to be free to do that so that you're able to. So I want to, as I always say, tap into and unleash your unlimited potential. Because if you show up, then guess what? I'm showing up. As your leader, I show up. You look good, I look good, right? So
absolutely,
it's so important for us to do exactly what you say. You really fostered an environment and a culture and a mindset that really support their level of independence and giving back to what you do. You mentioned about the what is it? Stop out. And so I really wanted to talk to in regards to the young people and going and in regards to your work and founding and starting up the boys' home. Could you talk to us a little bit about that, the boys' home that you had running, and where that came from?
That was not planned, and I call that the Lord put me in the right place at the right time to make a difference. Yet I did not know. I was assistant superintendent of schools for Baltimore City, and I was going to visit one of my schools one morning, and I saw these boys on the corner, and 3 boys, and I stopped the car. Now, I grew up in the country, so everybody knew everybody. So people said to me later, you had a nerve to stop and talk to those boys? You know, they could have been dangerous, and they could. Look, I am the assistant superintendent. These are my boys. So I want to know, why are you out of my school? You should be in one of my schools. And they said, well, who are you? I said, I am the assistant superintendent, and you are standing on my streets in the middle of the day, and you should be in one of my schools. So why are you out of school? Then one said, so we're foster kids. And at that time, I knew nothing about foster kids. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we don't have a permanent address, so we don't know what school we are supposed to attend. And I said, okay, so how long you been out of school? Now, this was February. They've been out of school since October. I said, get in the car.
That's half the year. That's most of the year.
Before I knew it, I said, get in the car. And they said, excuse me? I said, get in the car. And I took them back to my office. And of course, they were hungry, so they wanted to know could they stop by McDonald's. And I said, yeah, we could stop by McDonald's. So I took them back to my office to try to call social service to find out why are these kids out of school and why don't they have a permanent address. So, but anyway, make a long story short, I took them home for one night while social service was trying to find them a permanent home. And one night became 1 week and 1 month. And I would bring them back with me every day. And my office was in the annex right next door to Pimlico Middle School. So I would give them to Roy Pope, who was one of my best principals. He said, Roy, I got some foster boys. Give them one of your best teachers. Social service will call. And if they pick the boys up, fine. If not, call me and I'll pick them back up this evening. So they went on and on for about 6 weeks. They went to school board meetings with me, went to PTA meetings, and no trouble whatsoever. So I decided to keep them and then opened up a group home. And for 22 years, we raised over 100 foster boys in 3 different group homes that we opened.
Wow, that is amazing. That's a huge sacrifice to give up your free time. And then children that are not your own children. That is a major, it's a huge, my kids grown and, there's Dr. Shelley. Well, Dr. Shelley made a couple of comments. So Dr. Shelley said, hello, wonderful to meet another tenured professor of education who is also a cover girl. Because Dr. Hipsky is going to be our cover girl. And I believe she's February's cover girl too.
Congratulations. Beautiful.
And so she says, I love you, Miss Hattie. This is awesome interview. Reminds me of my old teacher's administration stories. She seems amazing. She is amazing, Dr. Hipsky. Very amazing. And I remember, so you bring me back to as a kid where I grew up, adults would address us like that. They would approach us and say, hey, what's going on with you? Right. We don't like what we're seeing in here, and so on and so forth. And so we need more of that. I wrote a piece that's called It Takes a Village. It does take a village. And the pieces that I wrote in there were just like, first it starts at home with the mom, the parent and the child. Then it goes to the parent, the child, and the teacher. And then it goes, the teacher needs the support of the administration, and the administration really needs the support of the community. So it really does take a village to really raise. And I just have to take my hat off to you, because it's a huge sacrifice as a woman, giving up your time, your energy, and your focus. And it just speaks to your extraordinaire to be able to handle all of this, and plus keep your career and keep all of the, benchmarks that you've achieved over the years.
But Maurice, the foster boys that came to me were abused, neglected, and abandoned. And they all were supposed to have behavior problems and emotionally disturbed. And most of the boys were on medication, and they would tell you, oh, I didn't take my medicine today, so I don't know what kind of behavior I'm going to be. Or they would say, I'm emotionally disturbed. And I would say, who told you that? My social worker. And the social workers many times are not the same culture as many of the boys. And so many times the first thing that they do, they may put in a category of being emotionally disturbed, behavior problem, when in fact, it's the environment that's having him to react. So, but I would tell my boys how bright they were, how smart they were, how lovable they were. And Unhatted does not have behavior problems. So if you had behavior problems before you came to Unhatted's place, we don't have behavior problems. I'm going to tell you something once, and I'm going to tell you nicely.
Yeah.
And I expect for you to do it.
Yeah.
And so they would look at me like, oh, you going to tell me something only once? Not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? No, I raised my 2 daughters the same way. One's was an attorney, one is a physician. Raised them the same way. If you tell them, if they understand
they do.
rules, understand your rules, I'm going to only tell you something once and tell you nicely. And that's it. I remember I had a pool when I was in Virginia Beach, and some of the neighbors' kids would come over and swim. And I had a sign when it was time for my kids to get out of the pool. I just go out and just hold my hand up. That means you got 5 minutes out of the pool. No discussion. That's it. So they saw my hand, and a few minutes they started getting out the pool, my 2 daughters. And the neighbors' kids stayed in the pool. And my daughter said, you all better get out the pool. We're supposed to get out the pool now. And one that says, no, I'm not ready to get out the pool. Now, this is my pool, right? I'm not ready to get out the pool. So my daughter's like, well, you better get out the pool. Make a long story short, I went out and helped her out of the pool and told her she could not come back anymore. And she was the only child, and she just started screaming, yeah, I want to come back. I want to get in the pool. I'm not ready to get out. So, but it made make long story short, she got with the program.
Yeah.
So when she was able to come back, only thing I had to do like this.
And
I didn't have to put my hand all the way up. She was the first one.
She was gone. She was out of there. Oh my gosh.
Because you just, and that's the way I taught my kids. I didn't scream at my kids in the classroom, other teachers yelling down the hall. I said, be quiet. Don't let me tell you be quiet again. If I tell you be quiet, I'm gonna send you to the office. I don't be doing all that. I tell my students when it's a little too noisy, I just hold my hand up. That means quieten it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And if I hold my hand up and separate my fingers, that means I don't like it. I tell you to be quiet, but don't let me stand in the door and put my hand on my waist. That means, and I start demonstrating all that the first day of school. Yeah. That means I'm so upset. And so when I put my hand on my waist, they know that means Dr. Washington is so upset. So all you got to do is show kids symbols of what this means, and they will understand it. And you don't need to be yelling and screaming and 4 or 5 times and send them to the office and so on. That's where they want to be anyway. Because if your class is so boring, they'd rather be in the office.
Yeah.
If you got something going on, they're going to come to school and they're going to stay in your classroom. So it's very important for teachers to understand that these kids with behavior problems are the smartest kids many times in the classroom.
Yeah.
Many of them are the smartest kids, that they know how to act up at the right time to miss math because they don't like math, and you fall right into the hand. Go to the office. They got, thank you. And so you got to outthink the kids because they're outthinking you.
Yeah, and you got to be creative as a teacher, right? So that you can make math interesting for them, because they're going to need the math. Eventually, they're going to need the math. So it's making it, and it's just like you said earlier, when someone is just trying to do their time for their 3 years and they're up, if that's the approach that they take to their job, then that's why they're performing their way. And that's the results you get, right? You can't put in what you can't get out what you don't put in. And so those are the results. And I always say good teachers that are really passionate about teaching, make phenomenal students. Students come out, very, very, very well. I want to talk about some of your books, because you've written a few of them. And so I want to talk about Think Pink, which is that your newest release, or?
That's the newest anthology that we have 10 wonderful, phenomenal women who write about their stories and how they launched a business and made a difference in the community, how they changed lives. And Antonio Crawford, who is the founder of the Think Pink Network, is the brainchild behind this particular network and this project, as well as he's the founder of the National Christian Women's Network. which
Oh,
is I
okay.
met him through that conference he had. And so I was honored to be selected to be one of the 10 authors that are in this book that will be coming out officially in this month, November.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the
Awesome.
pre-sale is going on now. His network is called Think Biz Network. And people can go to my website and see the book on my website. And his web URL is on there as well, but it's a phenomenal book. The stories are just so motivating, so inspiring. It's like, wow, these
Yeah.
people sacrifice all of this just to help someone else. Wow, it's amazing how women do these things, men too, but this is about women. It was the
Right.
breast cancer month. That's what they Think Pink, and doing things to enhance and promote and empower women.
Wow. Wow. It says Think Pink Success Stories from Women Who Launch Businesses and Change Lives. And
Mhm.
so that's amazing because we need that. We need voices that share, that encourage, that lift up and strengthen, especially when we have so much in our society that is not always so uplifting. We have so much positivity, but sometimes it gets overlooked by so much negativity. And so then you have also the power of the sisterhood with Sister for Sisters Network. So
Yes, yes. Now that's another powerful book under the leadership of Peggy Morris, who is the founder of Sisters for Sisters Network. And we have just a large cadre of wonderful, outstanding, successful women who were not always successful.
right.
The obstacles that they had to overcome and the adversity, how they overcame and the lessons they learned, and now they're reaching back and teaching other people how they can do the same thing. And I just love this organization because it's so, in fact, we had a Zoom meeting last night at 6 o'clock. I don't think we got off to about 8 o'clock
Wow.
because people are just sharing and filling each other up and supporting each other. They knew about this cover. They knew they're probably on there. If they can't be on there, they're going to be on the replay.
Yeah.
But it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, no, amazing. And we always need a network, right?
Yes,
Your
yes.
network determines your net worth.
Yes.
in so many different ways. And though you also have your own book, and that's Driven to Succeed. Can you talk to us about that? And then you also have a whole merchandising line.
Yes,
alongside that.
That's my first signature book. It's a combination of my memoir as well as talking about how I started on Hattie's Place, talking about how I reared my two daughters. As I said, one's a physician, one is an attorney. A lot of times parents want to say, what do I do with my kids? How do you get the most out of your kids? I got in my chapter everything I used to do with my girls, how I used to rear them, how I used to train them, how the expectation, they were in everything, ballet, piano, voice, just keep them busy because it's not enough to just do academics. They were A students already. Right. So they had some more brain power that they hadn't used yet. So let's put you in the arts. Let's put you in other things. And they excel at all of these things, foreign language, calligraphy. And now that my daughter, who has two daughters, my two granddaughters, she's doing the same thing with them. They're in all kinds of plays and voice lessons, piano lessons, and they're still A+ students.
Being able to handle your academics as well as your extracurricular activities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Which is so important, so important. And you have Aunt Hattie's cookbook too, and so just so that our viewers know, we're going to be having Aunt Hattie back. As we go through the month, we're going to have her back. She's going to share some of her recipes and some of the traditions that her family has during these holiday seasons to enlighten her. Behind her is her beautiful home. If you can see it, it's gorgeous. Oh my God, it's amazing. And I can't wait because we're going to be launching the Own It magazine, Lifestyles and Living. And I'm looking forward to featuring your home in that.
All right.
That is going to be thebomb.com. You can't wait to do that. And so talk to us a little bit. What inspired you? And then let's talk about too. Remember we discussed it. What is a taste Maven?
Well, that name was given to me by my marketing person, Bruce Smallwood, who is the founder and president of Mount Vernon Marketing. He also did the cookbook. In other words, he took the photos. He's a foodographer as well. So when we had a professional chef to do a kitchen testing of several of the recipes, he would go and take the photo and then get the photos ready for the cookbook. And because I had a publisher who was not, she didn't want to use the real color of these pictures because it was too expensive. So she wanted to gray shade the recipes or pink shade the recipes. And Bruce said, "Oh, no, wait. I took all these pictures. We're going to have the real color of your, who wants to eat a pink mac and cheese or a pink piece of fried chicken, you know?" So he laid my cookbook out as well. First time he had done that. And so he's just a phenomenal, gifted young man. He's been with me for years because he did all the video for Hattie's Place, which we were open. So, but anyway, getting back to how I started the cookbook, when you read the Driven to Succeed book, there's a chapter in there where I talk about growing up in the country. And everything we ate was from the garden. Wow. I mean, the vegetables, we killed hogs in the fall, and we ate all of them for the hog. We had cows. We churned our milk and made butter and the eggs from the chicken. And so we talked about all of these blackberry cobblers my stepmother used to make, and hot biscuits and hot rolls and fried chicken and everything from the garden, peach cobblers and apple and pear cobbler. You never have an apple and pear cobbler together?
Oh my God. No, I've never had it.
So one person, several people said, "So Washington, I got so hungry reading that book. I went out trying to make that blackberry cobbler and that apple turnover. When are you going to do a cookbook?" And I said, "Well, I didn't plan to do a cookbook." And then so many people say, "When are you going to do a cookbook?" I even had a relative in Virginia Beach. Every time I go to Virginia Beach, it's like, "Washington, you got to make your bread pudding before you leave. You got to make a pot of chili. You got to make your mac and cheese, and we'll put it in the freezer." And so he said, and his wife said, "Well, I don't know the recipe." So make a long story short, I just started writing down all the recipes, things I've cooked for years. Wow. And then I had so many recipes, I said I might as well just put them in a cookbook. But I didn't know at the time I got started that I should have a professional chef to kitchen test them. I said, I've been cooking 50 years. Why do I need a chef to cook my dishes? But if you're going to have a professional cookbook that's going before Amazon and whatever, you got to have a certified professional chef to kitchen test. So the fidelity of someone making that same dish would be the same dish that you would get if I made it. And so that was interesting that, so I had all that done. And so that's why I decided to do a cookbook, because so many people were asking. And then after the cookbook was done, and I would go back to Virginia Beach, he said, "You going to make your bread pudding?" I said, "There's the book on page 110. You going to make your macaroni and cheese on page 73.
Go
you can just
go for broke, right? Oh my gosh.
Like, no, you know you're going to still make that mac and cheese while you're here. So I did, because I enjoy cooking. It's like therapy to me, you know.
Yeah. Cooking is I enjoy it myself. It is a lot of fun. I enjoy family and friends around. I love cooking for them and serving them. That's so much fun for me. It gives me the chance to kind of feel like I'm spoiling them and loving on them.
Absolutely.
So that's always a good. So that's a good thing.
One of the things when I was in Maryland, I cook most Sundays. I would cook a meal because I would like to have leftovers when I went to work. You know, at least for 2-3 days. But my son and my daughter, when they called me, they said, "How you feel?" They said, "What you cooking today?" I said, "I'm fine, and you?"
I know that's the truth. Yeah, because sometimes
what you cooking today? I'm on my way. So I just love for them to come over on Sundays, and whatever I cook, you know, they just love to have it.
Yeah. It's cook is the love time, right? That's
It
when,
is.
people gather in the kitchen and, everybody's talking, the coffee is on, right? You got the
Yeah.
coffee going. You want to make sure you have some little dessert so you can have a little something to bite with the coffee.
Oh,
If
but
you're having a glass of wine, you want something to nibble on while you have the wine, some grapes and cheeses. I love brie cheese and honey. That
okay.
is so good. Oh my God. Warm brie cheese. So it's not that doesn't have to be melted, so to speak, but warm brie cheese and honey on a nice cracker. Oh my God, that's like heaven. Oh my God.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So having those fun times with friends and family are very, very very important, and we're entering this time of the season. So is there any particular recipe in the book that you really like? What's your favorite? I've not had the apple and pear.
But I wanted to say first that the cookbook won Amazon bestseller in 6 different categories.
Wow.
And so it is just one. It was featured at the Congressional Black Caucus. I was a featured author at the ASALA, the Association for the Study of African American Culture and History. So both books really have been featured at the Congressional Black Caucus and the ASALA. So we're very proud of that. In the back of the book, I have all kinds of resources and research articles talking about the difference between brown eggs and white eggs, or sea salt versus regular salt, or why everybody ought to be cooking with lard. And people say, lard? Oh my goodness, I haven't seen lard since my grandmother. Well, lard is considered a good fat because it's pure from the pig. Now you go out and buy some Crisco or some other artificial stuff with 0 calories, yet it is 1 molecule away from being petroleum.
Ooh.
So in the back of my book, I got all these research articles to let you know what you're eating. And if you don't want to use real sugar, what are some substitutes that you can use instead of sugar and all the other things? So being from the country, many of my recipes are as healthy as they can be because we have substitution of different things. You won't even know that I made my bread pudding from almond milk, lactate-free, fat-free milk, and can of pure carnation milk. And we use Truvia, honey, and brown sugar.
Wow.
So when you won't even know that it's not sugar all the way in there. It's not just pure milk, that some people can't tolerate milk. So lactate-free, fat-free milk, and it's light and fluffy. And my rum butter sauce is, you don't have bread pudding without drizzling some of my rum butter sauce on. And if you people got my newsletter, we're going to have a special treat, no trick, of my Southern bread pudding recipe on my website. So it should be on there by the weekend for people to use for Thanksgiving. That's my treat.
Wow. And you can connect with Dr. Washington on her via her website. You can follow her on social media. You already see she's connected with me on social media. You can go to our website, which is drhnwashington.com. And it's right here on our ticker tape. And yes, Dr. Hipsky, she's making us all hungry. Listen, because I'm thinking, all I can think about is that pear apple.
Oh my goodness.
So good.
Pear and apple together. You had an apple cobbler, and you probably never had the pear, but if you mix the pear and apple together, and another thing is good if you had sweet potatoes and carrots. You ever tried to put carrots and sweet potatoes into your casserole? You have a slice of sweet potato, a slice of carrot, slice of sweet potato, and you put your cinnamon over it, and when it comes out the oven, you don't know you're not eating all sweet potatoes.
Wow.
That's in my cookbook as well. That's where my stepmother used to cook it in the country.
Wow. Wow. I'm big.
Yeah.
I love carrots. And I actually like the carrots, like the little baby carrots,
Uh-huh.
like raw. I was telling just a
Okay.
friend
Oh
of
yeah.
mine that people don't realize, like, so when I was doing a lot of fasting, I was eating the like fresh fruits and
Uh-huh.
vegetables. And so one of them was the carrots, and the little baggie that has a little baby
Yes.
carrots in there.
Mhm.
So I would grab them, me doing decorating and stuff like that. I would have them in the car with me. And they really affect your eyesight. Like
Oh
people
yeah.
don't realize that they're eating those carrots. And when I say you got to eat them, though, you got to be eating a lot of them. You got to
Hmm.
eat them, but you do really see a difference in your eyesight. So,
Have you ever tried? Have you ever tried baby carrots and grapes? They put them in a little bag if you're going out and you want
oh
something.
my God, yeah,
Grapes and baby carrots together, you got that crunch, that sweetness. Oh my goodness! And another thing is cauliflower, cut a cauliflower in little pieces, and broccoli, and you put them in the bag with a little salt and some
mm,
grapes. And if you out and chew on that, eat on that, you don't
I
even get
never.
hungry and get tempted to stop by Five Guys or something.
Yeah, right. I know, right? It's lately I haven't been eating really any meat. And it's not intentional. It's just like that has just not been on my palate to eat.
Uh-huh.
But I tell you what, I do broccoli with Old Bay seasoning. Broccoli Old Bay season, cauliflower in the Old Bay season with olive oil. Oh my God, so good. So
Do
good.
you grill it in the oven under the
You
broiler?
can you can grill it, you can steam it.
That's good.
You can
Uh-huh.
you can steam it, let it get like
Yes.
soft, then
Uh-huh.
put it in the oven
Oh,
and then
without
let
a
it
doubt.
get crisp on the top of it with that Old Bay season. It is just I remember I don't know where I ordered it from, but I ordered this a seafood dish and they had the broccoli in it with the Old Bay, and I was just like, oh, I never thought about this. I mean, just the things that people do. And just like you said, you cook to taste. So the taste Maven is
Uh-huh.
someone who
Yes.
cooks to taste, not
And
measurement.
a taste maven is a good cook, a person who's just a good cook. They're not a chef. And many of the taste mavens don't use recipes. They just know what to cook and they don't measure anything. That's where I was before I had to
Hmm.
do this cookbook. Then I had to measure everything so I can write it down.
Yeah.
So a taste maven, you said she's a good cook. Oh, she's a good old cook. But if you ask her the recipe, she's like, I don't know, a handful of this, a pinch of that, and a little bit of this. You said, but I don't know how to measure that. Well, you just watch me. You
Yeah.
see, the young people don't know how to cook. They don't watch their parents. They didn't watch their grandmothers cook. And so they don't even know how to use an egg or how to get a chicken from start to finish. And so that's one of the reasons. Another reason I wrote the cookbook for my granddaughters. So they
Mm.
know how to cook things. They think cooking from scratch is getting a TV dinner out the thing and cooking it. And that's from scratch because they do DoorDash.
Mhm. Yeah, hello. My daughter is quick to do that too.
Yeah.
That DoorDash. But I'm like you. I really cook to sight and taste. I really am
Mhm.
cooking to sight and taste, and I've cooked like that for many all my cooking. Like my mom was not a teacher in the sense of teaching us how to cook. So she gave you some level of instruction, but it wasn't like she sat there to make sure we understood. But I did learn. I watched from her, I observed from her, and I learned. And at 19, my first husband was so impressed because went to visit with him, and we went to the supermarket. And our date was really him taking me to the supermarket, me buying all the ingredients for lasagna, and I made lasagna for us. And he ate off of that because when you make lasagna, you make
Oh
it big.
yeah.
So
Oh
he
yeah.
ate off of that, and he was so impressed that at that age, I knew how to come into a grocery store. I knew exactly what aisle to get, what I needed to get, and got all of that. And lasagna is no joke. If you don't know so many parts to that, there's no joke. So it's just like, yeah, but I did it. It's not because she taught me directly. It's because of
Uh-huh.
watching her and learning. And I think that that's sometimes the best cooking is when you're cooking to taste. You're not stuck, you
Yeah.
know. And
With the recipe, you go and follow the recipe and you say, need a little more salt, but the recipe said,
Right.
and you just don't follow your own taste.
Yeah.
And so when people eat your food, it's like, well, this is bland, doesn't have any taste to it. You say, well, that's what the recipe saying.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the recipe's calling for. So
in my book, there's a lasagna, not to cut you across,
Yeah,
that my daughter has a recipe in my book. It's a lasagna that's made with eggplant instead of the noodles.
Oh, yes, I love that too. Oh my
And,
God.
and people who say, oh, I can't, I got to have noodles. You won't even be able to tell the difference when she cut into that lasagna with the eggplant. Oh my goodness. You should get
I love eggplant.
for that recipe.
And eggplant is not easy to cook.
No.
Not easy to cook at all. I've tried. It's not
I'm
easy to cook.
consuming.
No, but I love eggplant. Eggplant is so good. I love it.
It's good for you.
Yeah, even if you just put salt and pepper on it, it has to just be cooked to being tender. You know, it has to be cooked to being tender, but salt, pepper, and some garlic. I love garlic.
If you throw it in the oven and it get crisp, oh my goodness, it's like chips. You take slices of eggplant, let it get crispy, and put some guacamole on it and a couple of olives. You know, you are really
oh my God. You are
really
really
healthy.
you're really setting us up for the holiday season. We're really getting hungry here. So the name of the book is
the cookbook.
Aunt Hattie's
cookbook. A Southern Comfort Food Favorites.
Oh my God.
Because those are my favorite dishes, and everything from salmon cakes, stewed tomatoes, you know, even got some chitlins in there. Somebody got some chitlins in there. I said chitlins and pig feet in there. And people say, oh, I don't eat those anymore because I got high blood pressure. Well, you probably got high blood pressure with something else because that's a good fat. So look at all the other stuff you're eating because you got to know what's good. And in that article I have about what are the good fats and what are the bad fats is in the back of my book. The directory, we want a prize just for the directory.
Wow.
With all the research articles I have in the back on why, you know, you should eat this instead of that. And not just because I said it, because you had a Harvard professor and a Johns Hopkins professor wrote an article on 10 reasons everybody ought to be frying with lard. And guess where you find lard now? Many times, not the regular store, but in the health food store. That's because people are getting to know that lard is a good fat. So now they're gonna put over the health food store, charge 4 times the price.
There you go.
And then you've heard of ghee, Ghee?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Ghee is a combination of pure butter and lard. If you're making some biscuits and you want those biscuits to taste with some flavor and buttery, you can use ghee.
You got to use ghee. You have to use the ghee because nothing else tastes like butter. And when I was a kid, I love butter. And I
pure butter.
When I got older, I noticed that butter, margarine, none of it on the market tastes like butter when I was a kid.
Country butter that you get from the Amish store or the best butter, I'm not promoting any butter, but I use Kerrygold.
Yeah, I've used that.
Which is a pure butter. And the reason how you can tell a pure butter, if you take butter and put it in a microwave and melt it, and if you have a lot of milk residue on the top or at the bottom, then you know that part of your butter is not butter. It is part milk or whatever else.
Or water.
Yeah. So Kerrygold is one of the purest butter you can get. You get it salty or unsalted. You can get it in the tub, which is soft, or you can get it in the sticks. So that's what we use, which is a pure butter.
It's a big difference in our ingredients from when we were kids. And I'll tell you, I used to love me some hog maws and chitlins. I loved hog maws and chitlins, and I'm going to tell you, I love pig feet, but I don't like pickled pig feet.
Oh, you don't like chicken what?
I don't like pickled pig feet.
Oh no, they too much.
No. But I love pig feet with some hot sauce and And
Yeah,
so,
oh look, when I cook
listen,
my pig
it's a
feet,
mama beans.
I had one of our relatives say, "You cooking pig feet?" I said, "I cook them every year." You know,
Mhm.
oh, that stuff is that. And I said, "Well, then good. It'd be more for me and the people who love it." And the way I was cooking them, you cook it in vinegar, hot sauce with the
Mhm.
onion, and you put a little bit of beer if you have some beer in there, and a tablespoon of baking soda. And
Mm.
it takes all the smell and makes it very, very tender. And then when it gets almost done, I put a can of sauerkraut
Oh wow.
down in the pig feet. And
Wow.
then you got sauerkraut and that pig feet. I always make my potato salad, my cornbread.
Oh, that's my daughter makes that.
Cornbread. And you ever had cornbread with crackling?
No. Oh,
That's a
no.
country dish, crackling from the country.
Ooh.
But anyway, the
Oh
cornbread and the pig feet and collard greens. I'm getting hungry myself.
my.
Every year, I do have to have pig feet once a year. And again, when people read about the good fats, you find that things that are causing you high blood pressure, not the good fats. It's something else you're eating that you're not supposed to be eating. So read some of those articles in the back of my book and be wise to what's causing cancer, what have you. There's a study I have in my book. They took a stick of margarine, the scientists, and they put it out. They had roaches, rats, gnats, and some other type of little flying insect. Nobody went near the margarine. They didn't eat the margarine. The rats didn't eat it. The gnats didn't eat it. The roaches didn't eat it. And after 6 months, it didn't go bad. But guess who eats it?
Who eats
We
it?
do.
We
So
eat
you
it.
got insects and rats and roaches smarter than us. They didn't go near it.
They wanted no part of it.
The margarine is not really a food.
Mm-mm.
It's not really a food. And so, but you're eating this because it says it's low fat
Mm.
and it's 0 calories or what have you. So there we're going to get healthy, but yet we're going to have cancer. And you look
Mm.
at all the cancer once people start eating all this junk, thinking
Yeah.
they're trying to get healthy, but you really are eating all this stuff as putting poison in your body.
And it's counterproductive. Not
Absolutely.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
cookbook is I try to make it healthy, try to give you some information, and at the same time give you some alternatives when you're cooking. If you don't want to use this, you can use that. That's healthier for you. And it's really a wonderful experience. And in the back of the book, I have some recipe cards. If you cook something and you substitute something out, write that recipe down so the next time you won't be saying, what did I do the last time when I
Oh,
substituted
nice.
that? So that's in the
Nice.
back of the book too.
Oh, nice. Nice. I can't wait for me to get my copies of all the books. It's always good to have, even though you're a person who does tasting, you cook by taste, it's always good to have at your fingertips some handy recipes just in case you get into a jam. Because sometimes if you're a taster, you can kind of get yourself in a jam. You're either messing up on the texture, you're messing up on what is it, liquidity, how the liquid levels, or you're messing up on texture, right? So somewhere along the line, you may need to reference really quickly, and I've done that. Reference really quickly. Okay, how do I save this dish because it's going left field, and I need to bring it back right. And so it's really always good to have them and to try out new things. And so with that being said, we have Think Pink. You've been doing some stuff. You a businesswoman, administrator, consultant, best-selling author. So you got Think Pink. We have the power of the sisterhood, which is so important for women. Women need a sisterhood behind them.
Mm-hmm.
We can be a real trip sometimes when it comes to supporting one another. And driven to succeed, just being determined, being an overcomer, facing challenges in life. And you did all of this as a single mom, right?
No, I was married to a military guy, but who was gone like 6 to 9 months at a time.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you felt like a single parent because you had to do everything for 9 months.
Yeah.
And then when they come home, they're getting ready for the next deployment or something. So you sort of felt like a single parent.
Yeah,
But
that is.
and you have to be independent. You got 2 daughters and teaching full time. So you got to plan all your meals and plan the clothes. And I see people like the kids get up and they don't know what they're going to wear. They throw this on the floor and they got to do it. At night, my kids we would choose what you're going to wear. If they needed pressing, press it all. We would hang it up. So when you get up in the morning, you know what you're going to wear. It's not, man, I don't know what I'm going to wear. And you spend 15 minutes trying to decide what you're going to wear. Your room looked like a whirlwind because you keep, no, I didn't operate that way. And then the lunch is all ready at night. So we're orderly and calm every morning, get dressed, and we go to school. And so that's the way you got to organize your day.
Yeah,
as an adult, and kids see that, and now they're organized. My daughters are organized that way now. You don't leave the house in the morning without making your bed.
Right.
Same with my foster boy. You don't want me to have a hissy fit. When I go in your room, you haven't made the bed. Not just make it, but I have a certain way. I taught them all how to make the bed.
Right.
And so, and then you fold it back. And I like to see a bed folded back, look like you're ready to get into it when you come home. So,
yes, and it does make a difference. So when you have, I always say this too. I said when your house is orderly, your attitude is orderly, right?
Absolutely.
Your house is a mess. It's like you're annoyed. You can't find stuff. You're looking for things, and now everybody's getting mad at everybody. It's a big delay. It's a when you're not organized, it's a time stealer. It steals your time away. So that's one of my pet peeves. It's just like I just like things to be organized. Let it be structured as best it can. We know obstacles in life happens, but to as best you can to be as organized as you can. So
without a doubt, and you save your time. My daughter was here not so long ago for my birthday and for my surgery. And she said, Mom, you have any tweezers? I said, yeah. She said, where are they? And I told her, go in my bathroom, look right on the thing where the comb is, and they should be right there. And then she said, you have any scissors? Look in the kitchen, top drawer. She said, Mom, you haven't changed. I said, she said, you know where everything is. I said, make sure you put it back.
Right. Right.
So when looking for my tweezers
on and I need to go, I know it's
right. Where are my scissors that I had in this drawer? But it's
because
funny.
when you always come when you have company and you start off, you have 6 scissors, because I know I'm big on scissors. You have 6 scissors. When company leaves, you're just like, okay, where did all my scissors go? Especially my granddaughter. I used to always have to watch her when she came over, because she went right into any kind of writing or pens cutting, and so she goes right into those little projects.
Without a doubt.
Oh my God. It has been such a pleasure, Dr.
Oh my goodness.
to have you on. I'm looking forward, because we've only really, even in this hour, we've only really touched the surface of the work that you've done. And with each interview, I'm looking forward to highlighting another area. We wanted to focus today on, listen, we're going into the holiday season. We got to get into the spirit of the holiday, right? I love this time of year. And also I wanted to wish you a happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
October the 6th.
Yes.
Okay.
We are October babies.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And of course, I want to tell the people about the merchandise, the Driven to Succeed merchandise. On my website, I have a store called the Driven Store, and it has all of the merchandise called Driven to Succeed. And the whole psychology behind wearing your Driven to Succeed, first of all, it's a conversation piece. Somebody said, what did Driven to Succeed mean? Then you tell them, well, that means that I am driven. I'm a driven person. That means I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish high school. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to major in such and so. And the more you tell people what that means, it's reinforcing to you. So I've already said it. So that means I got to do it. I got to become it. It's like a vision board.
Right.
So you can write down the vision, or they'll post them all up, this is what I'm going to do. And this, well, is visualization. You got to visualize your success before it happens. Because if you don't visualize it, how are you going to get from A to B to C to D if you haven't visualized it, when my daughter was in medical school, I got her a card that says Sherelle A. Washington, MD, the first year of medical school. She said, Mom, I'm not a doctor yet. I said, but you're going to be one. So we put that right up there. And so she told me later, she said, when I would give up or when I wanted to quit, I saw that sign that you got me. It says Sherelle A. Washington, MD. And I thought, okay, I got to earn that sign. The same thing with my other daughter who was in law school. I got business cards. Cheryl Y. Washington, Esquire. To graduate May 1997. And so with a phone number. So people say, you got a phone, you got a card? Here's my card. They said, oh, you're going to graduate? Yeah, my mama, their card. But it stuck in. And so driven to succeed merchandise. You got driven to succeed down your exercise pants. That means you're going to run a little harder. Yeah. You're going to work a little faster because you got driven to succeed down the side of your exercise pants. Right. Or you got it across the front. So you're going to visualize your success psychologically, just like you don't know when you learn every song, every word to every song. Well, that driven to succeed will subliminally get into your psyche and you work harder and you say, I'm going to be successful. I'm driven. I'm self-driven. So that's the notion behind my merchandise. You got coffee cups, you got mugs, you got computer, you got masks, all kinds of different logos, different colors, sorority colors, pink and green, red and white, blue and white, whatever your sorority, whatever your university colors, we got all those colors of logos. So go in the driven store and take a look around and see what we have there.
Awesome. And you can go right to her website, which is drhnwashington.com. And so you just go right to her website. Again, it's drhnwashington.com. You can go to her. It has her media if you want to connect with her. Her media kit online. It has her books. It has her merchandising. And you can go there and just check Dr. Washington out. Amazing woman of history, has done some amazing things in our school systems, as well as in our community. Just doing a lot of breakthrough work and touching our young people. And I'm pretty sure there are countless young people that will say, Dr. Washington, blah, blah, blah. I know my teachers, that some of my social studies teachers still connected with him to this day. When teachers make an impact, they make an impact. When leaders in our community care, we feel it. We feel the care of our community leaders. And so I just want to say thank you so very much. This has been a true honor. I'm looking forward to our continued, our next one is next week, isn't it? Is it next week? The 9th? Yeah, the 9th. And then we're the 23rd. And so
Marissa, can I thank everybody who continue to support the books? Part of the proceeds from my books and merchandise, we donate to the scholarship fund at Coppin State for not only my foster boys to help them with their expenses, but other foster kids, because when foster kids get to be 18, they are out of the system. So within 6 weeks to 6 months, most of them end up in jail, homeless, or what have you. So they have to live on campus because they don't have a home. And they have to live during the holidays because they don't have a home to go back to because they're foster kids. So my scholarship will help pay for that augmented time for them to stay on campus during the holidays and the summers and that sort of thing. So when you buy a book, you not only do you get a good book, but you're also doing a good cause for these foster kids. And also, they look forward now to open it up to other foster children in the state of Maryland because they need help too, not just my boys and other boys. Now we open up to other foster girls and boys. So the Untitled Scholarship Fund is also on my website. If people want to just donate directly, just go to the website at the bottom. It says AHSF, Untitled Scholarship Fund, and you get a letter from Coppin. It's tax deductible. And they will send you a letter. And then I'll send you a letter also because they send me a list of everybody who donated.
All righty. I just wanted to make sure I put that in the chat so that folks can know where to purchase your books and your merchandise, as well as the donations. And so here is Own It's CoverGirl. Own It magazine will be dropping this Friday. We're super excited. You got to see the cover, but wait till you see the interior. It's a it's a full layout feature of Dr. Washington. And we're just so honored to have you as a part of the Own It family. And so welcome, 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 welcome. And we look forward to donating to the organization to be a part of your legacy work. And so, again, want to say thank you. Any further closing comments?
Yes, I want to shout out to my daughter, Cheryl, who is an attorney, but she gave up practicing law to run Hattie's place. I thought it was going to be for 3 weeks or maybe 3 months, but she ran Hattie's place at minimum wage for 6 years.
Ooh.
6 years, and she would everywhere she went, she got the boys and going to the movie, going to church. And I said, Cheryl, you would never find a husband, because they say, I love that girl. She's nice looking, but she got 5 kids already. You know? So she said, Mom, I'm not worried about that. The right person come along at the right time. But she spent so much quality time with those young men, teaching them different things and just reading to them and helping them with the homework. So for 6 years, she did that. And then the Lord has blessed her with this wonderful job. She's president and CEO. I think the first female president and CEO of the East Baltimore Development Corporation.
Wow.
And the Lord bless her for spending 6 years at minimum wage. And she was an attorney, raising these false knucklehead boys, but we just love them dearly. And if you look at one of the pictures, Marissa, they were in my older daughter's wedding.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
We took them down to Virginia Beach, and the social worker said, well, you can't take them out of town because you got to get the permission of the parents. Excuse me? These are foster kids. Where am I going to find the parents? Well, you can't take them out of town. I said, okay, get ready. And we went on down to Virginia Beach where my daughter, they were in the wedding. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to be trying to find these parents. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in foster care.
Right.
So anyway, they were in the first 8 boys were my first daughter's wedding.
Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. And how much you've changed and impacted their lives. Oh. They have a different way of thinking, a different way of behaving. Their choices are their critical thinking is different, right? Their critical thinking and
without a doubt. I gave a shout out to my younger daughter, but I need to give a shout out to my first foster boy, who is like my own son. He lived in my house. He never lived in Hattie's place. He always lived in my house, and he came to me when he was 11, and now he was just promoted. He is in charge of the IT office in Rockville.
Wow.
In charge of the IT office. He got interested in computers. I purchased a computer, a scanner, and a printer when he was about 12. Wow. And I said, Wayne, put this stuff together. He said, Ma, I don't know what to do. I said, me either. He said, well, suppose I break something. So it's just a computer. So 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard somebody downstairs, and I would say, Wayne, yes, ma'am, I'm there reading all these manuals and learn how to cook up all of that. And he became interested in computers, majored in IT at Coppin and information technology, and had a job before he finished. And now he is making big money.
Oh, wow.
And now I think he's one of few African Americans in that field. And I think he may be the only African American in that office where he is, and he's there in charge of that office in Rockville on Rockville Pike.
Wow.
First foster son. So I'm so proud of all of my young men. I can just go through who's doing what and where
and how,
so
right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Without sounding cliche, we need more people like you that are willing to sacrifice and we need leaders of old, because back in the day, leaders really got involved. They really, really got involved. And I think that we see that level of hands-on approach anymore, and that impacts our society, that impacts our communities. But we're going to come back. We got so much more to talk about. Really have so much more to talk about. We just scratched on it. And remember, Aunt Hattie's cookbook. You guys got to get prepared for the holidays. You need the cookbook. But when we come back, the next conversation, we're going to be really focusing on, yes, there we go. And it's beautiful. It's hardcover. Look at that. Hardcover. Beautiful.
Well, we have it in paperback also, and we also have it in ebook and ebook as well on Kindle. And right now they're on sale because I have a treat sale. I think they're going back up soon, but it's right now on the treat sale, so you can get it.
Wow. No, we got to get ready for the holidays. Can't wait till the last minute. Get your cookbook. Give them out as a gift. Hardcover is the bomb as a gift. Hardcover is the bomb. You want somebody, some folks, young folks. I think we need to be giving more of these books to younger people so that they know sooner what needs to be done. Yeah, I know. Oh, nice. I am too. I'm going to actually get Aunt Hattie's cookbook for my daughters. Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful?
Power of the sister, the power of the sisterhood.
And all of the authors on the back. And this is Peggy.
Oh yeah, Peggy.
Our fierce leader right here.
Yes. Yes, amazing. Yeah. So Think Pink is pre-sale. So if you want to get that and get your copy, now you can buy it. And again, all of her books are on her website. You can go to Amazon, and she says to you, you can go to all the stores that sell books. Correct?
Yes, they should be in all the stores. But to be on the safe side, just get it from Amazon. If you're Prime member, you get it next day. You know, you can get it from my website. Either way, if you click on my website, it takes you straight to Amazon. Anyway, so just click on it and it goes straight to Amazon, and you can get it the next day if you're a Prime member.
Yeah. So get your copies. Tiffany said she's going to get her copy for her mom.
Wonderful.
She's getting the cookbook for her mom. So
excellent.
And that is a perfect gift. Gift idea.
They are.
And you put some coffee in there with some biscottis, because they're gonna need the coffee while they're cooking.
Yeah. For Mother's Day, I used to have a basket with the cookbook, you know, some knits, an apron, and pot holders and different things. So make a nice Mother's Day or any day, a wedding present. One friend of mine who was married, he says his fiance couldn't cook, so he gave a cookbook with those. I said, well, you better dress it up with something else in there other than cookbook. You better put a diamond ring,
like some,
put a tennis bracelet or something.
The mittens,
like getting a person a washing machine for a present. Like, whoa, no, not for Mother's Day.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that
to me. Don't do that. I need you, but don't you get it like that. So so it'd be a good present for anybody, really.
Yes, it will. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would just want to say thank you so very much for chiming in. This has, as you see, we have so much more to say. But this has been a pleasure. We want to say thank you for taking center stage and owning it. This is November's CoverGirl. We are so honored to have her with all of her achievements and everything. And so we're just really, really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of the week. We will see you next Tuesday on the Author's Corners.
Yeah, and be safe, and just, wear your mask.
Yeah.
Don't go out there because you don't know who's not vaccinated. So just be careful. You go in these stores and they say you don't have to wear one. You wear one. Yeah. Because you just never know. Just be careful.
Yeah, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, man. Amen.